NetSuite's time off management feature enables employees, managers, and HR to easily request, approve, track, and report on time off activities through a centralized system without the need for manual entry. In this video, I'll be giving you an overview of the overall setup required for the time off management feature, and then I'll go into detail on how to assign a time off plan to an employee. Each of the other required setup steps are detailed in their own separate videos. I highly recommend watching them in sequence, starting with the Creating Time Off Types video. Before we start, I just want to point out what your NetSuite account needs in order to use this feature. It's likely your account is ready to go, but if not, this is what you'll need to get started. You'll want to make sure that you have SuitePeople Core HR available on your account, as well as have the time off management feature enabled. You'll also want to have the time off tracking Suite app installed. This will enable employees to submit time off requests from the Employee Center, and it will provide an approval workflow that will route the requests to employees' managers for approval. You'll also want to make sure your administrator has given you a role in NetSuite that has access to the feature. And lastly, employee records must be created in NetSuite. Before you begin setting up time off management for your company, you should review your company's time off policies. For example, you should think about the differences between employees with regards to the amount of time off they are entitled to take, how unused time off is dealt with at the end of the year, and how time off is accrued. Let's now take a look at each of the steps involved in setting up time off management. The first step is to create time off types for the different categories of time off employees can take. For example, you would create a time off type for vacation and another for sick leave. The second step is to create the time off plans. The third step is to add time off rules to the time off plan. Time off rules reflect your company's time off policies. They define how to handle time off eligibility, entitlements, accruals, and carryover during an employee's tenure with the company. Then, time off rules need to be associated with the time off type. Next, the time off plan needs to be assigned to employees on their employee record, as well as a work calendar. Work calendars determine which days are working days for the employee. This is used to calculate the number of hours to deduct from an employee's balance when a time off request is submitted. And lastly, a supervisor should be specified on the employee record. This person will automatically receive any time off requests submitted by the employee. Before we assign a time off plan to an employee, we'll want to make sure that we've already created our time off plans and defined our time off types and time off rules. When the time off management feature is enabled in your account, you'll notice a time off subtab on employee records. It's from this sub-tab that you can assign a time off plan to your employees and look up their current time off balances. Employees assigned to a time off plan are able to submit time off requests and look up their balances from the Employee Center. In the next part of this video, I will demonstrate how to assign a time off plan to your employees, which will include how to assign a work calendar and a supervisor. I'm at the home page of my NetSuite account. To assign a time off plan, first navigate to Lists, Employees, Employees. This will take you to the Employees list page. Click Edit beside the employee you want to assign a time off plan to. From their employee record, scroll down and click the Time Off sub-tab. From here, select the time off plan and specify when to start time off calculations. The date entered here determines which time off rule currently applies to the employee based on how long they've been with the company. For details, watch the companion video, Creating Time Off Rules. Next, we'll assign a work calendar to this employee. Click the Human Resources sub-tab and select the calendar. Work calendars enable the system to determine which days are working days for the employee, which it uses to calculate the number of hours to deduct from an employee's balance when a time off request is submitted. Now enter the name of the employee's supervisor. Supervisors automatically receive time off requests submitted by the employee. And to finish, click Save. I hope this video has given you a better understanding of how to assign a time off plan to an employee. I highly recommend checking out the other videos in this series, Creating Time Off Types, Creating Time Off Rules, and Creating Time Off Plans. Thanks for watching and see you next time.